Dino mentioned earlier, as the weather forecast was very good, I was concerned nobody will be at the church. Everyone want to go for fishing and go for hiking. That's why in our staff meeting we have a joke. Actually, after the staff, every Sunday service and Tuesday we have a review meeting. Then we talk about Sunday service attendance. Then we always say, like, oh, this week there was too much snow, that's why people didn't come. Then later we said, oh, it was too good weather, so everyone went for outing. So I thought maybe then I should start praying that God, there should be enough rain in the night so nobody can go out for hiking. Then there should be maybe a little bit rain in the sea, nobody should go out for fishing, so everyone come for church. That's what anyway. Everyone liked outing, isn't it? I liked a lot of outing when I was young. In my part of India, southern part, we don't have so much snow or anyway, very sunny weather. I wanted to travel a lot. But I was the elder son in home. So elder sons usually in our culture not so free. And they have a lot of responsibilities. And the parents always ask them to do certain things and we are not free. And that's why my younger brother had a lot of freedom to travel. So I always missed traveling, and which I wanted, and so I feel I had to sacrifice a lot of my passion and a lot of my things I wanted to do in my life. But later, after I joined Unification Church, I get a lot of chance to travel around and going to Korea, going to many other countries, and even within India also, we used to get a lot of opportunities to travel. And I want to share about one of my experience in 2005 when I went to Korea. That time, our national headquarters was in India, but I was visiting my hometown because that time we had our second daughter. So we were in our hometown area. But I received a call from my leader there, from New Delhi. They said me, she told me, Manoj, better you come back quick. You have to go to Korea this week. And oh, this week? Yeah, come quick. As soon as I'll purchase a ticket. And so, as soon as I came back Delhi, then I had to leave to Korea. And even though I wanted to stay in my hometown, still I was so excited to go to Korea because I love Korean food. And I think I forget what was the holiday, some big program. But whenever I go to Korea, I know which restaurants I should go. And sometimes we have fundraising teams also in Korea. But we plan our MFT on those days, like, oh, let's go to Chancheon, where we can get Takalbi. And that kind of, that is our main way we are planning MFT. So that much I like Korean food. And very spiritual. I know which town has this good type of, kalbi and all these kind of things. Anyway, I was so fascinated. Then, as I landed Korea, it was kind of smooth travel. Then I noticed, as everyone getting down from plane, and then in the airport, everyone getting, opening their luggage and wearing their warm clothes, which I didn't have any of that. And it was actually the beginning of March, still very cold, and people look towards me kind of wearing clothes for the warm climate. And where are you going? What happened to you? Are you crazy? Something like that, everyone looking. Then finally, it's too cold outside. I could not even get out of airport. Then one person gave me one of their jacket one week was kind of really hard for me. I had to go for shopping. Actually, clothes shopping for me in Korea is not easy. When I go for buying jackets and shirts, I always get like a half kind of short sleeves. And that's why, anyway, it wasn't, I felt, I didn't think, the reason, I didn't think about that at all. I wasn't prepared. I was so fascinated about Korean food. So, anyway, the reason I'm talking about this traveling and going outing and everything today, in reality, we are in a journey. We, all of us, are in a journey which is our life. Our life is a long journey we started without even knowing about that. And while we are conceived in our mother's womb, we are starting a journey. An eternal journey we are starting. And according to divine principle, we say there are three different spheres or phases of our life, which is the first phase is the life within our mother's belly. Then the life we are having here on this earth. Then the life we are continuing in the spirit world. And when we think about that, I remember when I was very young, I didn't want to hear anything about the spirit world because that was something scary for me. I thought spirit world means like a world with a lot of ghosts and a world with a lot of like scary beings come and take you off. They can do any kind of, they can kill you or they can do any kind of harm towards you. And in India, it is, sometimes I feel it is too much. And you know, we have the World University of Occult Science in India. That kind of funny things anyway, that's all about kind of little bit the bad side of the spirit world. People are focused. And that is maybe at least the image I had about spirit world is a little scary. But according to principle, we all are going towards that eternal world, which is, we feel that is the, we believe that is the final destination. So today, I want to talk about, just as Stephen Covey's 7 habits of highly effective people. The second habit is called start the journey with the end in our mind. And that means, begin with the end in our mind. That means we should be able to know where are we going and what are we heading towards. I wasn't aware of that in my early ages. Here, today, as you may notice in the Hundred reading, we are talking about spirit world. When I was laying out the lectionary, when actually after we talk about the beginning part of principle of creation, talking about God, then talking about different aspects of God, then talk about love and different aspects of love. Then recently we were talking about that the growing in love, the speciality of the age of adolescence, where we are learning about how we get prepared to getting into the life of marriage. Then where also in marriage also we have to learn to give more and all those sort of things. Then I noticed, without talking about spirit world, I cannot go to the other level. So I thought, okay, anyway, I have to talk about this. As we talk, I believe that as True Father in his speech mentioned about that the vast majority of people don't believe in spirit world and don't understand what spirit world is. And also, the vast majority of people, because they don't know what a spirit world is, and they don't believe in spirit world. They don't know there is God. And the existence of God is after. Only if we have the understanding of the spirit world. And then as the third part of in that reading, Father said, even people who know there is spirit world and there is a God, still they don't understand the spirit world is a world centered on love. And that's why last week, the last several weeks, we were talking about love. How we can get perfected in love or get more and more, how to learn to give more and more love. And that's what we were doing as a preparation to reach into that eternal life, prepare ourselves to go to that eternal life, get prepared ourselves. Many times our life is just as we driving a car. And when we drive a car, let's see, just for a simple example, when we drive from here to New York City, sometimes to go to UTS, I take car from here to Route 21, then drive up to Route 3, then take, I think, exit 8 or something, anyway. Then Route 3 I take up to Route 495, then go towards Lincoln Tunnel. And I have that in my mind, I have to go there. And New York City, I'm going towards that. Of course, many times I park my car in Union City and take a bus from there. But in my mind, I'm very clear, I have to go there. And today, sometimes it happens, I miss a turn. Sometimes when I drive, I call somebody, then I'm talking to someone, then I forget. I'm going there, I'm going to New York City, I'm supposed to take this exit to Route 3, and I drive straight down Route 21, then again I have to come back. And today, after my first sermon, Mr. Don Murray came to me and said, Manoj, I did that exact thing today, this morning. I was thinking about something else, and I forgot an exit, and finally end up driving a lot of time, extra time to come back to that same exit we had to take. And that happens, that can happen in our life. If we know, if we are very, very clear about this is the path we are going in our life, we can be much more clearer than what we are now, or thousands of other people who can really straighten their life. And yesterday, we had an incident here. As I was, after our Ocean Church event, I was preparing myself for Sunday service today. Then, actually, before I go inside, me and Reverend Unishi was somehow standing outside in that corner. Then I noticed one person laying down on the grass, then doing some martial art or some exercise, like kicking and hitting people, and not hitting people like he's doing like Ryan teaching our martial art kids, our total Mudo. But only thing, he was laying down in the on the grass, like very hard hit, punching people, like kicking. Then we thought, oh, what's happening? Then I noticed after something he got up, he cannot walk. It's like walking like this. Then Reverend Unishi said, when he saw he's kind of drunk, he said, oh, he's not from our church, let's go. Anyway, what happened, he came inside the church. Then after like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, Carlson came to my office. Pastor Manoj, there's one strange person inside the chapel. Can you come? Then, when I came, he's standing on the third pew and doing his martial art. Then, as I approached him very close, he's so drunk, he smells very bad, and I asked him, come down. He said, he wanted to attend service. want to attend church service, that's why he came inside. And I told him, we don't have service tonight, and so please come out, let's go. Then we had our Go program. Many of our kids are running around this area, and none of them have experience with really drunk people. And then I kind of hold his hand and lead him to outside. Then he is kind of going, don't touch me, do you want to fight with me? This kind of things. Anyway, I had to bring him out, and he doesn't want to leave. And then he fall down there, and now he is laying across the sidewalk. No way to get him out of the place. Then finally I had to call 911. Then police came, and 2 fire trucks came. Actually, I was scared also. Like, for this, it's kind of a silly thing, but we can't manage him. Then after fire truck came, first he wanted to run away from them. Then in that corner, I think he started peeing in the street. Then this police reached him. Then he wanted to do martial art with police. They handcuffed him. Then when they were frisking and checking, they found out he was carrying drugs and he was drunk. So they came back. They told me that, oh, he's going to prison. And I felt actually in the very beginning also, almost like 15-20 minutes, we tried not to call police, but there was no way we could handle him. Then finally he ended up in jail. Why he is leading such kind of life? Because he doesn't know anything about his life. He thinks getting drunk, that is pleasure. That by doing that, he can be really happy. He can find happiness in his life. And he doesn't know that he is here to prepare himself to going towards an eternal life. And I also many times, I end up like people like really pushing me to get drunk. And sometimes even my friends who are in America, they call me for parties. And sometimes I go to meet with them. And many of them, one of the major things is to celebrate their life and enjoy their life on this earth. Have pleasure as much as possible. And think about that. What are they doing? Like they are actually destroying their life. And that is what true parents is saying. True father said, people don't know there is a spirit world. And people don't know there is a God. And this life is, they are preparing for eternal life. And when they don't know about that, people do all kinds of weird things. And then they ruin their life. And then they miss everything they are supposed to do in their life. And they are supposed to learn about good things, get married, and then lead a good life, learn how to have a good relationship with husband and wife, learn how to raise children, how to give love, and how to give love to grandchildren. And through that, we are learning to receive and give love. And that's how we are entering a life, and that's how we are preparing our life to enter into a life of love. And that's what your father said. Even if we know there is God, there is spirit world, if we don't know this eternal life, I'm going to have is a love, is a life centered on absolute love, which there is no barriers. There is no secret in that life. There is nothing you can hide. And that's why it is important for all of us to be prepared so that we don't need to hide anything. So that there won't be anything which I want to hide from my spouse. And right now maybe I might be able to do. I might be able to hide something from my spouse which I many times failed. I can't hide things from her. She finds out. And in spirit world, we can't even love. And here I want to use a passage from Bible which is from Matthew 18. And it is really good if you refer back to Matthew 18, the whole chapter. But I'm just using a very small portion of that. And it is actually talking about relationship within families. And this particular part is just talking about relationship in the church. And it is starting from Matthew 15 up to 22, I want to read. If another member of the church sins against you, go and point out the fault when the two of you are alone. If the member listens to you, you have regained that one. Jesus is saying, if you have a problem with one person, go and try to resolve when you and him or her are together or alone, when nobody else is around. And if you are able to solve that issue, then you gain that person. You resolve that problem. But if you are not listened to, take one or two others along with you, so that every word may be confirmed by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If the member refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church, and if the offender refuses to listen even to the church, let such one to be as a Gentile and a tax collector. And the most important thing, what I'm talking is Matthew 18:18. That says, truly I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loose on heaven also. And this is the most important part I want to share. Whatever we do here, whatever the things we resolved here is resolved in heaven. Same like that, whatever things we could not loosen here, we could not resolve here, will be bind on heaven also. And that is what it is here. Jesus is explicitly saying that you have to be prepared. You got to know where you are going towards. And if you are not prepared from this word, you cannot do anything with that. You can't undo it in that place. And in my case, even though I didn't have a warm jacket, I could buy it still in Korea. There was someone to loan me one jacket to me. But in spirit world, you can't do that. You have to come back, or you have to just wait for someone to help you from earth. So no hope. And that's why it is today, in this today's reading and today's sermon, I want to focus that the fundamental problems we have in this world is the lack of that understanding we have. True Father very clearly saying that. This is like we are, many times, we are leading a life just like driving without a focus in our where we are going. Just jump onto the car, then just starting the key and driving, then I'm thinking, oh, where am I going this morning? Will that work? It doesn't work. And that's what the same thing is happening in the many thousands of people's life in the world. People go in the evening. The person yesterday came here. I was talking to that person, the driver of that fire truck. He was a nice guy, asking about the programs in the church. And then he was saying to me that, oh, it's so pity. He came here and he might have worked all day. Then he got drunk with all the money he made that day. Then next day, what is he going to do? Every day the same thing. Working, spending money on alcohol, thinking that that is what happiness he is getting. It's not. And in the world because they don't have that focus. And for us also, we know there is a God, we know there is a spirit world, but many times I feel we don't really think about that so much. And we don't really think about that we have to grow in love. And we have to go through this process every day. We don't think about that. And for me personally, I believe, I experience that when I'm busy with many things happening, we don't have that focus many times. And when we are busy with our work and busy with our all the things we do, we can easily be out of focus. Then think about the world. People after working, they just want to go to a bar and get drunk and then sleep and then finally end up in jail. Is that the thing one? Many times, many of our young people may be influenced, not influenced, may be pressured by the culture. Many times, I get pressured because of many friends are like that. And in schools and colleges, even in workplace, we know the thousands of people in this world is enjoying just a life. Just think about this, how can I satisfy my body? How can I make my body more, kind of satisfy the craves of my body? It is so hard to overcome that. It is so hard to focus our mind towards that eternal life. But today, and also for the coming weeks, I want all of us to really focus our life. And also help other people, whoever you meet in your life. Help them and remind them this life is not a life we are ending here. And this life we are having is a life we started a journey, eternal journey, where we are going to have an eternal relationship with God, eternal relationship with two parents, and with all of us. And only if we are prepared, and only if we are able to have that unconditional relationship, whether nothing needs to be hidden, we will be able to enjoy that eternal place. So this week, and I want you to, all of you to think about this and about this eternal journey we are having and help other people also. And thank you so much for listening to me.